Hello there, welcome along to another mixed martial arts conversation for Sky Sports. Looking ahead to the Bellator event in the early hours of Friday morning, live on Sky Sports Mix. Corey Anderson makes his long-awaited debut in the Bellator ranks at 205 pounds, light heavyweight, up against Melvin Manhoef, veteran, 25-year veteran of mixed martial arts. Very pleased to say Corey joins us now from isolation ahead of the fight. Corey Anderson, fantastic to speak to you for Sky Sports. How are you?
I'm good, man. How about yourself?
Yeah, very well, thank you. Is it surreal being fight week in the week of the election in the States? What's it like?
Another day at work for me. I don't do politics, so I ain't paying no attention to the election. I'm worried about my mission for Thursday night, and that's all that's on my mind.
Yeah, that's fantastic. Keep that focus. And how does it feel to make your Bellator debut? Does it feel different? Are you keen to make an impression in the division?
It feels a little weird. I was talking to my coach about this morning. I was running the treadmill. It's kind of like it's my first fight ever again. You know, I got like a new energy, a new feel going on. As for previous in the UFC, I had all the stress because I was at the top and all the things that I was saying I had to do to get to a title shot. I was trying to prove something, trying to make something happen. And now I'm just the new guy on the block. I'm just going out there to fight, trying to get a win and make my name known.
Does the culture feel different from the UFC to Bellator? Is there any tangible difference that you feel?
I mean, right now being in quarantine, it's kind of hard to feel much of anything other than a mattress or a chair. So we go work out and we come right back. And I never really got to see what it was like quarantine in UFC, so I can't compare. But the mental aspect I feel is different because, like I said, there's not any stress on me right now. I'm the new guy. I have nothing, I'm here to earn my keep. As for the guy I'm fighting has already been here. As for when I was in the UFC, there's a lot of pressure because I was already ranked at the top and I couldn't afford to lose if I wanted to get to that title shot.
Have you been studying the 205-pound division in Bellator now to figure out where you want to go, or is it just all about Melvin Manhoef and this fight on Thursday?
I mean, I had studied a couple people prior with Bader being in the 205 division. I had flew out to help him with fights before. And when I was studying film on Phil Davis, I saw a lot of the guys they had in the division. And I like to watch fights, period. So if a Bellator fight is on when I'm at home, I'm usually keying in and watching. So I've seen a lot of 205ers. I know one of the 205ers personally from growing up in high school. And it's a pretty good division.
Who do you know personally? Sorry, Corey.
Alex Polizzi. We actually worked together in high school for freestyle, our team freestyle.
Oh, wow. So would you fight Alex? Would you if it came up to it or not?
I'll fight anybody. I haven't talked to him since high school. I saw him the other day and I said what up. And I don't think he recognized me, and we still didn't talk. I mean, it's business. In the UFC, when I fought OSP, he was a friend of mine. We had to fight. It's all about getting the paper. Get the paper and get the win.
How do you assess the challenge in front of you in Melvin Manhoef? 32 wins, 29 of them by way of knockout. He's 44 years of age. Do you expect him to come out swinging and kicking?
I know he's going to throw punches and kicks because that's his style, but I don't think he's going to come out as furious as he used to. The last couple of fights that we've seen, he slowed it down and been more composed. It could be because of old age. It could have been because the last time he was knocked out. Whatever it is, things happen where people change their styles. But I'm going to be paying attention, watching his hands, watching his chest, looking for him to swing big because that's what his plan is. I don't think he's going to go out there and try to out-wrestle me. I doubt he's going to try to out-jiu-jitsu me or out-point me. He's got to swing for the fences and hurt me and drop me or catch me, and that's going to be the way he either beat me on the scorecards or he wins by knockout.
Do you feel under any pressure making your debut with hope fight down the line for you in Bellator? Do you feel under any pressure to impress, or is it just getting a victory, getting a W?
No, that's the one thing I liked about coming to Bellator is back to just getting a W. Prior to this, I was always fighting to make an impression. I had to do something to get the needle to move. That's what they told me in the UFC. You got to get the needle to move before you get to UFC title fight. And now I feel like I don't have to worry about that. I go out there and I win. I dominate the way I dominate. It doesn't matter. He's dismantling people. He deserves a title shot. It doesn't matter how he wins or who he beat. Or who he beat, of course, matters, but like how he beats them is what I mean.
Is that more pure MMA in a way, in a sense that you're putting the disciplines and people's best disciplines together rather than trying to encourage them, I suppose, to stand up is kind of what you're saying there?
100%. It's called mixed martial arts, not mixed martial arts, not rock'em sock'em robots. You know, the plan is to go out there and be the best mixed martial artist you can be. And that means if a guy's going to outstrike you, you're a smart enough mixed martial artist. No, you got to take him down. If the guy is long or shorter than you, the goal is to stay long. If the guy is longer than you, the goal is to get in. And when you do those things and you capitalize on your game plan as a mixed martial artist, that shows you're prepared in every area of the sport, from boxing, kickboxing, wrestling, judo, jiu-jitsu, all the different things. And that's what we're here for. And in some places it seems like we're losing that aspect of the sport. Now it's about who's going to sell the most tickets. And the only way you're really selling tickets is by knockouts.
Mm. Do you feel liberated then? You go into this, that you feel like you can be yourself, that you don't have anything in the back of your mind about how you have to look or perception of other people. It's just about being in the moment and performing.
100%. I was probably one of the biggest reliefs the whole camp. You know, like I told my coach, we're going to go out there. It's back to being us. It's back to being what we do, what we trained for 7 years. We can go out there and do what we do. We don't have to worry about impressing anybody. I don't have any side thoughts in my head like, oh, what this person going to think? Or what about the crowd this? And especially there's no crowd. So there's no crowd to entice you to get into a brawl or anything crazy. So now it's kind of like we're going to go out there and we do what we do every day in training. And we're going to get it done.
Do you think that could that favor the wrestlers then, in a sense, you think, because sometimes the crowd does want to see the striking and could drag you into that kind of contest?
It favors the most composed fighter in that cage, the person that's most disciplined and know what he has to do to get it done, whether you're down 2-0 or whatever it is, whatever part of the fight is, the one that can stay composed and just focus on the fight, that's who's going to benefit. You know, you don't have any side distractions. You don't have anybody screaming. You can listen to your coaches. You don't have anything pulling your attention away where if your coaches are calling something, you can't hear what they're saying is open. You know, it's going to be crystal clear, broad day, wide open. It's going to echo, you know, so I can hear it loud and clear.
Yeah, I think that's why a lot of the fans love it as well at the moment. But that's a sort of, obviously they want to be there in person, but I think they enjoy on the television, the intimacy of it and what you can hear. How difficult was the pandemic for you in particular? Obviously the whole world has found it difficult, but you came off that loss in your last fight. Did it give you a lot of time to reflect? Did you want to get back into the cage sooner?
It definitely gave me a lot of time to reflect, but it didn't make me want to rush to get back to the cage any sooner. But like I said, reflecting, you know, that time sitting out, that's kind of how I ended up here in Bellator. I was just reflecting on a lot of things on my life, my career, where I had been, how long I had been in the UFC, the way things were going, the way I thought things were going to go from there. And then opportunity came for something different. And in this sport, it's about, like I said, getting the win and getting the check. You know, my mind was all about getting the win. I wasn't thinking about the check part. I wasn't thinking about the fact I have a family now, a wife with a kid and another on the way. I got to worry about taking care of them. I can't worry about just winning. When it's all over said and done, a UFC title and a bunch of wins isn't going to pay for my kids' college tuition or pay the bills. And it made me realize where I was at in my career, what I deserve in my career, and, you know, the way I should fight again. That brought me back to another thing. I should be fighting smarter to preserve my health. You know, I shouldn't be out there fighting to impress people. I should be fighting to get the win, get the check, and get out of there. Get back home to my family and be happy, healthy, and safe. And, you know, other than that, that's the only thing the pandemic did. Because for me, I tell everybody, I think it was a blessing and a curse for me, but it was more of a blessing. The curse was just like the gyms got shut down. But the curse or the blessing was I got to spend more time with my son while I watched grow up. And now that's like my little man, my little best friend, not even 2 years old. But before the pandemic, I was always seeing him in passing. I see him when he came home with his mom, but I was on the way out to the gym. I got home to the gym just before he went to bed. As for now, we spending like half the day together until I drop him off to the city, or I pick him up from the babysitting. And then also, it's like with the gyms being shut down, it forced me to come out of pocket. And I'm always big on toys, cars, motorcycles, and whatnot. But I had to buckle down and put my stuff outside and turn my garage into a gym so I can train and invite people over. And that also gave me the chance to slow my training down some, not so much as going over what we're going to practice and going hard all the time, but get people to come over late at night, early in the morning, get my coaches to come over, and we can slowly drill things and see a lot of the mistakes I have been making in my career and fix those things day in and day out, and then go to the gym and perfect those things. And like I said, the pandemic was great for me, and I'm glad that America is starting to come up a little better. It's starting to, the economy is coming up a little bit, and we're going to sure after the election things are going to change, I'm sure. But as for me, it was great.
Well, congratulations. I'm glad that it was good, and congratulations on the baby to come as well. Has fatherhood generally changed you? Has it changed your outlook? And you mentioned about longevity, not just for you, but for the family. Are you starting to plan? You're in your prime now, I suppose, at 31, but to have a long career, you're saying that it has to be strategic and it has to be in your own best interests.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, having a family changes a lot of things, along with the decisions we make, just like the decision to come to Bellator. That was, I mean, when the opportunity came, I was biting my teeth and holding down. Like, I didn't want to let go of that opportunity to the UFC. But as my manager said, he made it bright and crystal clear for me. He said, Corey, hey, you got a family now. You got to worry about taking care of those guys. Take care of your wife. Take care of your kids. Make sure everybody's going to eat. And when you're done fighting, you're still eating. Like, yeah, we know you're one of the best in the world. We know you can beat the guys in the UFC and be the world champ. But are they willing to pay you what we're worth? You got to calculate that. You got to figure out where you're going to get noticed and where you're going to get your worth. And that was a big thing. And then, like I said, the mental health and physical health aspect is, I always think, playing with my son now is like when he gets older and play football or wrestle, whatever he does, I want to be able to do it with him, teach him, show him the way I do it. Now, if I'm punch drunk and can barely keep a sentence or can barely walk, I can't do those things. So that brought me back to the fact where I got to start fighting smarter so I can get home to my son and spend as much time with him as I can until he's 18 and on his own.
What's your son's name? Does he know what you do now? Is he kind of a keen fan of yours?
His name is CJ, Corey Jr. He's 19 months. He'll be 19 months on the 8th, but he knows what's going on. He's at the gym all the time, sparring. He's sitting at the cage watching. We go home in the home gym. He grounding pounds the heavy bag. He's punching the heavy bag. He grounding pounds the dog. If I put my hand up for a high five, he comes throwing a jab cross. He knows. He sees the way dad hits mitts, and he does exactly what his dad does. And, I hate it and I love it. I don't want him to be a fighter, but I love the fact that he sees his father's always working hard. So he's going to grow up knowing this life didn't come easy. My dad worked. I remember growing up, my dad was always in the gym working, and we had a good life from it.
Yeah, well, you'll be his hero, I'm sure, and he'll try and follow in your footsteps. When Melvin Manhoef, when you think about your opponent, he's 44. He made his MMA professional debut, I think, in 1995. How much respect do you have for that kind of longevity? Is that something that you'd like, or do you have a shorter end date in mind?
Well, I don't want to be in it that long. When I got in the sport, my plan was to get in and out like a robber, get as much money as I can and start my future endeavors, use my business degree, and, make the smart and safe money, healthy money where I don't have to get hurt. But as for him, it's nothing but kudos and hats off and congratulations. If you can make it that far in this sport, especially being MMA and kickboxing, with the mental damage and the physical damage you take, and at 44 years old, he's still moving around, training and fighting, that's great. I mean, he's did it right, especially starting in the combat sports way back when, before they had all the science and the physical therapy and chiropractic and stuff like that. He's been really through the grinder, and he's still here.
Yeah, he's talked a couple of times about retirement, 1 or 2 more fights, he suggests. As his opponent, does that make you wonder that maybe his heart fully isn't in it when you go into the cage against him?
I mean, I can't worry about what he's doing. I can see, I seen what was his fight after he got knocked out for the middleweight belt when he camped 205. And they said in the commentation, he said he won 1 or 2 more and he's done. But this would be the 3rd one since then. So if they banked on that, it didn't happen. I'm not worried about what he's thinking. I'm not worried about what he's doing. I'm not worried about what he says. I got to worry about what Corey does. And that's been a problem in the past also. You're worried about what the media say, what people say, what he said in the interview, and you start going into the fight thinking about those things. Thinking about, oh, this person said he's going to knock me out with the right hand, so I got to say cautious to the right hand. And that makes you lean into that right hand more. So if I go out there thinking, oh, he's ready to leave, he's going to retire, he's not fully in this, and just that's going to make me think, like, this guy isn't here all the way. I can take it easy on him, and that's when you get caught. So like I told my coaches, we treating this fight like it was the world title fight in the UFC or the Bellator title, whatever it is. It's a top-of-the-line fight, one fight at a time. We're worried about this, and we're worried about what's next after.
So do you not study too much tape before you go in of the opponent? You more kind of feel it out as you get in there in terms of being natural? Is that the approach now that you've come across?
No, I still study tape. I study tape, but not as much to worry about what he's doing, but to see where's my opening, to
Mm.
see what he's doing wrong, what he's doing bad, the mistakes he makes, the things I can capitalize on. You know, I've always been a strictly of studying film from being I was a college athlete to a college coach. That was my job, breaking down film, scouting, taking notes. And I still do that to this day. The notes is not as for, all right, you got to watch out for this. Oh, he going to do this great. No, the notes is for, okay, when he does that, that's when we do this. He's going to open up here. When you see him make that move, he's going to do the same thing next. So the opportunity for you to do such and such is there. And that's
Mm.
what we study for. And we figure out the game plan there. I tell my teammates, all right, this guy does this, this, and this. So I want you to do this, this, and this when we spar. And if you hit me, you hit me. But it's my job to see it coming and get used to it so I can react into it in a timely manner before I get hit.
Mm. Has sparring been good? Have you been able to get the sparring you needed in the pandemic?
Sparring's been great. You know, I flew my brother in. He ain't my real brother, but Bruno Capeleza, the former risen champ from Brazil, great kickboxer, good brown belt in jiu-jitsu, good wrestling. And I got my boys Carl Roberson, UFC 185er, and Rex Harris, a 185er also from PFL, he's probably 2 inches taller than Manhoef, but the same style, just a banger. He's walking forward, throwing big hooks, overhands, kicks, and stuff like that. So when I mixed the three people together, from having the ground game, the jiu-jitsu, the wrestling, and all three of them are actually strikers, Carl Roberson, a glory kickboxer, you know, to have those guys throwing kicks and punches at me with longer reach, I feel like it's not going to get a much better look for Melvin Manhoef than that.
Yeah, sounds tough for most of us who aren't fighters, to be fair, but great preparation. Have Scott Coker any conversations with you? Has he suggested how many fights you need to have before you get the title shot? Obviously, that's held by Vadim Nemkov at the moment.
No, I've met and talked to Scott literally one time, the day I signed, that morning we met for lunch later on, and haven't talked to him since. I talked to Mike Kogan, who I think is the VP, and I deal with the other people, but that's not Scott's job to talk to me. He is the owner of the company. His job is to stay at the top and delegate. Make sure Mike gets the message delivered to such and such, or Carrie, or whoever it is to deliver it to me. And my job is to either speak it to my manager to relay the message or speak to the people texting me. But as for getting to the title fight, like I told my manager, if we get to it after this fight, cool. If we don't, cool. We making enough money now. We're fighting. We're getting paid for what we're worth. So I can't complain about it. We go out there, we fight, we get paid. As long as we keep bringing the checks home, the title's got to come eventually.
Yeah, do you feel that you're a big name, and do you think coming into the Bellator, do you feel that there's a rising tide in the organization, that UFC is getting a serious rival in Bellator?
I think it's definitely bringing more attention to, especially Thursday night, I left the UFC ranked number 4 in the world. And I think to this day I'm still ranked number 4 because no one in 205 has fought. And to think you got a guy who he didn't get cut, he left and went to another promotion. So people want to see people. I was gaining a lot of momentum in the UFC, and now I get to bring those same fans over here. And then right after I left, you had Khabib's brother signed, Brett Johns left, and it was one more person from the UFC, one of the Russians over there training with Khabib that also signed. So you got to think, right after Corey leaves, I make all this noise in the media, the reasons why I leave, getting more money, blah, blah, blah. Then within 2 weeks later, you get 3 other guys that come, and 2 of them have been ranked in the top 15 in their division. So that's already bringing more attention. And like you said, being a bigger name, I'm not going to say a big name, but a bigger name that's well-known, has done media for 7 years, a lot of people want to get interviews and whatnot. So when you get interviews come over, that bring more media platforms to Bellator. That's going to bring more opportunities for these younger guys to get media opportunities. If I have to fight these younger guys, or the media is at the fight and they see this younger guy, they're, oh, I never heard of this guy. I'm going to check this guy out. So it's a growing process. It's nothing but positivity and going up. I'm just excited to be a part of Bellator and watch the company grow, whether it's with me or without me. But now that I've been a part of it, I feel like I'll be a part of it forever.
Well, it's fantastic to speak to you, and we're looking forward to watching you. You'll be live on Sky Sports in the UK, early hours of Friday morning. I think our program starts at midnight our time, so we're very much looking forward to that. What can you just leave us with in terms of predictions? Do you go into predictions in how the fight might play out, how you're seeing it in your head, or do you just let it come?
The only thing I've ever predicted, and that's been since college, is just domination. I don't train to go out there and keep it close. I never go out there like, okay, I'm up, now we're going to coast. The plan is from start to finish, you lead the dance and you finish leading the dance, and you're going to be leading the dance lots of steps ahead of everybody else. So just know Corey's going to come out there prepared to dominate, push the pace, go fast. There's not going to be any slowing down, whether it's 5 rounds, 3 rounds. I can keep the same pace, which you don't see in 205ers for 15 or 25 minutes. And Thursday's going to be the first step to show it in the Bellator cage.
Well, Corey, we appreciate your time. Thank you, and the best of luck.
Thank you. Have a good one.
Well, fantastic to speak to Corey Anderson. Cannot wait to see him in action. Remember, live at Sky Sports Mix from midnight on Friday, the 6th of November, coming from the Mohegan Sun Resort in Connecticut, live in the early hours. And remember, for more mixed martial arts content, head to skysports.com.